Video is universal. It allows people around the world to communicate, share, and exchange ideas. Chad Hurley, co-founder of YouTube. For many of the keeners out there, you've probably realized after watching a lot of my videos that I don't film anything in 2, 3, 5, 7, or 10 shots, but rather one. I turn on the camera, I record, and then I turn it off. And many of you have wondered, how in the world is Brendan presenting for 7 to 10 minutes straight on camera without any edits, any jumps, or any breaks in his videos? And that's exactly what we'll be tackling in this week's episode of MasterTalk. Hi everyone, I hope you're having a fantastic week. Brendan from MasterTalk here, your go-to channel to mastering your talk. And today we're going to be covering the subject of how to be more confident on camera so that whether you're on camera or off camera, you're going to deliver an exceptional presentation that your audience will fall in love with. So let's get into it. The first thing I want to focus on before getting into my advice is being on YouTube, especially at the beginning for me, was something extremely nerve-wracking. And the reason, even though you probably won't believe me, is mostly because there's a big difference presenting live and on camera. Because live is something I'm very used to in my personal case. I've presented hundreds of times, I know what to do, I usually present my MasterTalk keynotes these days, and I know what I'm doing, right? I love engaging with my audience, interacting with them. But on camera, it's very different because I'm alone, there's no one really to talk to, I don't have that same level of interaction that I usually do live, and it's something I'm not really used to, pressing a record button and then speaking in front of the camera. So basically what I'm trying to say here is at the beginning of anything that you do, whether it's live or on camera, you'll always have challenges, even if you're a really good public speaker like I am, right? But after that, as you get better at it, you'll be able to master that as well. As I have, at least I like to believe, over the last couple of months. So let's get into some of that advice. Number one, come to the realization that your impact that you can make on video is a lot more scalable than live sessions or live presentations. So what I mean by this is, let's take a personal example. A wise friend once told me that before I started on YouTube, that if you spend your whole life doing live sessions only and coaching people one-on-one for public speaking, you'll never be able to reach the max amount of people. And this is because you have a certain amount of time in the day and you certain amount of years that you're going to be here. But with video, if you just record it once and you do it really well, you can then share that same video thousands of times over without having to be in the room or having to explain the same thing 1,000 times over. That's why I believe the first thing you need to realize with video is not that, oh, you should rest and drink some soda or eat your favorite dessert. I don't like that type of advice, and I don't think that adds value to you. But rather, I think the better thing that you should be focusing on is realizing the impact that you can make on camera. Because once you realize that camera and being on it is not about something you should do, and transitions from something you need to do to make the impact you want to make in the world, then that's something that really drives you to get really good at it. And that's what drove me to get better at it, right? At the beginning, I wasn't very good on camera and transitioned into someone who was much better on it. So once you come to that realization, you'll be successful. The second part of that tip that I want to focus on is the fact that you have unlimited attempts. When you're in a live session, even if I love them personally, right, you only have one shot. You present, you either do really well or you have a lot of points to improve on. It's one or the other, right? But on camera, you can mess up so many times with nobody judging you, nobody watching you until you actually post a video or share the video with someone. In that regard, you have so much more time and so much more attempts to get it right, even if you're not that great of a public speaker. And that's the other thing I liked about video a lot, because at the beginning I would always mess up my videos, including this one, and then after a couple of times, I get it right. Number two, the biggest difference between live and camera presentations, as I call them, is that in live presentations, you can talk a bit about everything, right? You can lose your train of thought a bit because your audience there to clarify anything that they don't understand or anything that they believe is unclear. But on camera, since your time limit is very small and you want to keep your audience's attention span as long as possible, you need to focus on getting your thoughts a lot more structured. That's why the big difference between both is on camera, I actually write out every single one of my scripts and every single one of my videos word for word, right? A lot of people find that bizarre, but the reason why I do that is so that my thoughts are structured and I don't lose my train of thought during a video, right? Because if I do that, it's very confusing for my audience to follow me, right? So in that regard, after I write out my entire script word for word, then I practice it an unlimited amount of times until I get it right in front of camera. It doesn't mean I memorize my pitch, but it means that I understand where I'm going, why I'm going there, and what the takeaway from my audience is by elaborating on this point and discussing it. So that way, when you're able to focus on those ideas and getting everything structured, you'll be a lot more successful. And this is something I never did, by the way, at the beginning. When I started giving presentations, I just never scripted. And now I feel it's something I need to do, at least on camera, even though I don't do it live anymore. The third thing I want to leave you with, which is probably very interesting for some of you, is what I like to call progress until you obsess. When I started on YouTube and when I started recording myself on camera, I gave myself very, very easy goals to accomplish. The goal, especially considering my first YouTube video, wasn't to be super confident on camera. It wasn't to get all my content right. It wasn't to structure my thoughts properly. It was just to get started. Because I find the biggest challenge, at least on YouTube for most, is just to post up your first video, no matter how bad it is. So once I did that the first time and I posted it and I got some feedback from my close friends and my audience, I started getting a bit better, a bit better, a bit better, until I obsessed over it. It went from, let me just post this video, any video, to let me make sure that I deliver the best possible quality, the best possible content, and the best possible solution for public speaking for anyone that watches my video or my channel. And it grew to become very good, right? A lot of these weekly videos aren't just about giving you content every week, but are also about me getting better every week as a speaker in front of a camera. Once you record 2 or 3 videos, you're not very good at the beginning, and that's perfectly normal. In the same way that you present 2 or 3 times live, you need to present a lot of times before getting good. But when you're on camera and you've presented 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 times, then you get a lot better and you'll progress until you obsess. Remember, if there's anything that you take away from this video, it's this. Video is universal. If you're able to master it, you'll be able to scale any type of message, any type of idea, and more importantly, any type of impact you want to make with the world in a much more easier way. There's so many people from different provinces across Canada where I live, and the United States as well, that have watched my videos and learned from those tips in ways that I never were able to reach them in person. That's why, by getting more confident in front of camera and using a lot of the tips I already teach you to be really good live, you'll be able to transition, master your talk, and master your camera as well. As always, if you enjoyed this week's episode of MasterTalk, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the YouTube channel as well to see more videos like this. And if there's anything I'll leave you off of, it's this. If you know one person that's trying to record a video for a project or starting out on YouTube or really any other reason to be on camera, be sure to send them this video so that they won't focus on having the right dessert before they start presenting, but rather having the right mindset to present in a way that inspires trust. Thanks, everyone. Wishing you a great week and see you next time. Take care.